Ojvazod Odavari. Welcome to the world building stream, everybody. I just had a very frustrating couple of minutes because I was wrestling with my music, but I got it figured out for next time, not for this week, but that's okay. Just have a little bit of what I think is soothing intro music that for some reason did not work. Let me know if you can see me and hear me okay. But yeah, it is Sunday night, and we are here to do some world building. Thanks so much for showing up, everyone. Yeah, it's gonna be pretty casual. It's been a while since we've had a regular stream. I want to kind of get back in the habit. So today we are going to be working on a little bit more politics with my upcoming Dwarven campaign. So we are specifically going to be building some clans, and we are talking about one clan in particular. We're talking about Clan Golden Plate. Great. Thanks, Joey. I was going to go get some water, but I couldn't because I had to fight with OBS. But that's okay. Everything's chill. It is 6 o'clock. It is time to world build. So I have a big document here that has a bunch of information on a bunch of other clans as you scroll up. We've got Clan Deep Vein here. We've got Clan Bright Shard. Clan True Silver is up there too, a bunch of them. But today we are working on Clan Golden Plate. So for the uninitiated, this is for my upcoming, someday, when the world opens up again, D&D campaign I'll be running, called Helm Crown, and it is sort of a Dwarven Game of Thrones. It's a political intrigue campaign in which the players are trying to help the claimant of, or try to help the claim of an unlikely Dwarven claimant to the crown of Coom, this ancient Dwarven kingdom that fell into ruin and has only recently sort of been reclaimed by the Dwarven people. Coom has 7 great clans called the Elder Clans, and they are all kind of vying for power in this space, in this new era. So today we're going to work on Clan Golden Plate. And the idea here is that this is a clan that is not one of the main claimants, but they are an important sort of political mover and shaker in the world. And they, getting them on the character's side could go a long way. I think there are 3 clans that are like that, or 4 clans actually, that aren't really making a claim, and this is one of them. It does remain to be seen, Vaughn. I would be surprised if we were flipping over characters as fast as Game of Thrones does. Yeah, what's interesting about the campaign is it's going to have 2 parties. There's going to be kind of a dungeoneering party and a politics party. And both parties will influence each other, but I want to try to run a campaign with two parties that are operating at the same time inside the same world and their actions having effects on each other. We'll see. I may end up regretting that. But I have a whole bunch of categories here for Clan Golden Plate, and we're going to talk about them. I'll give like a brief summary first, and then I'm going to go through and I'm going to fill out the things I already know. And then I'll probably talk to you, chat, if you guys have any ideas about some of the areas that I don't know. This is a clan I really don't have a lot of upfront information about. I know kind of the general feeling about the clan, but I don't have anything too specific laid down. So the idea with Clan Golden Plate is that they are sort of the least of the 7 great clans. The greatest would probably be Clan True Silver, the royal clan, but they have basically since disappeared and are no longer a thing, and that the 6 remaining Elder Clans are all kind of squabbling for power. Golden Plate is the youngest of the Elder Clans, as you can see, and they basically live perpetually in the shadow of their sort of founding event. Way back in ancient history, this clan usurped the clan that was sort of over them. They used to be what's called an underclan, and they took over, basically collaborating with the crown to unseat Clan Glimmergem, who used to be above them, and then basically take over their role. That was 2,500 years ago or thereabouts, and they still kind of live in the shadow of that event because they're dwarves and they don't forget anything. So they are, the idea is that they're kind of vain and worried about station and title and kind of insecure in their position. Their name comes from the fact that their main sort of export. Each clan has kind of like their primary focus, and Clan Golden Plate is all about hair, and it's all about beards and fashion and that kind of thing. They do mine gold. They do have some other stuff they inherited a lot of the minerals that Clan Glimmergem used to possess, but they are kind of the most concerned about physical appearance, which I think kind of like lines up with the idea that they're mainly concerned with their station and their status in life. So let me fill out the things that I already know. So in ancient history, this is way back in the day, clan... Oh, I want to get my music going here. I always like to have a little bit of music. I wish I could play music for y'all, but there's sort of a copyright concern. If anyone knows of any copyright-free Dwarven thematic music, let me know. Joey says, I've done a campaign with multiple parties. It's very fun. Yeah, I've always wanted to try it. It's something I've been kind of doing in the past couple of years, is challenging myself and saying, can I run this kind of a campaign? Can I run this kind of a campaign? All Hell Yogg was one of those. Like, can I do a fun evil campaign? And I think I succeeded. So now we have to push it, and we have to do, can I do multiple parties? How did it go, Joey? Did you have any trouble logistically with your players? Because that's the main thing I'm worried about, is logistics. Let me see. Getting my music going here. Okay, cool. So Clan Golden Plate was originally an underclan. Beneath Clan Glimmergem. So again, apologies about the thousands of typos that I'm sure you're going to see. Until Queen Ovgora Orcfriend convinced them to turn against their lords and raised them to Elder Clan status. Great. That's the ancient history. During the Seven Sorrows, this one I don't have so good. So the Seven Sorrows were an event that basically kind of like shook Coombe to its core. It's what drove all the dwarves out of their homeland and kind of exiled them for about 500 years. And it was basically this like catastrophe wave of different terrible things that happened. So there was a volcanic explosion, and the minerals sort of, the veins ran dry, and there was a frost giants moved in, and troglodytes sprung up, and the king went mad, and all these terrible disasters occurred. It's sort of what drove the dwarves out. And so I don't really know what they were up to during this period. Clan Golden Plate fled, like all the other dwarves, but I'm not sure what the conditions of that were. It could also have been like in the lead up, right? Like what were they doing before that? Under unknown conditions. And then the recent history, they're back, right? They've returned. They're among the elder clans that have come back. And all I know is that politically what's happening right now is that upon returning to Coombe, Clan Golden Plate is looking for someone to legitimize their claim, their station as an elder house. Potentially through marriage. So I definitely wanted to have one of the big political plots in the campaign revolve around a marriage, because I feel like that's such an important element in the kind of classic medieval fantasy political maneuvering, right? And I didn't know who to tie it to, and I think I have an interesting plot element here. I am going to get some water, because I feel like my throat is already getting kind of dry, but I will be right back. Let me mute while I'm gone, and I'll be back in like 10 seconds. There's like some weird thing about streaming where it puts like a weird strain on my voice, I've found. I ran a Sharn campaign today, and it went great. I didn't have any like vocal troubles, but now all of a sudden that I'm streaming, it feels like I'm like clenching my throat. Joey says, not at all. Everyone helped make the game feel balanced by really playing in character and making choices. That's awesome. I'm so happy to hear that. Great. So that's kind of the summary here. I don't know politically what was going on with Golden Plate when the Sorrows happened, but let's talk about their materials. That I know something about. So Lusterine is a really interesting one. This was inherited from Clan Glimmergem. Clan Golden Plate, or Lusterine is a dull green gem that nonetheless bewitches all those who look upon it. Only when properly treated, can its magical beauty be observed safely. So the idea here is that like these are like when you normally see like raw lusterine, like unworked lusterine, it looks kind of like dark and gray and green, but you can be hypnotized by that, right? You can kind of be pulled into its facets. If you work it properly and send light through it, it can create these beautiful kind of like aurora, swirling prismatic displays, and so it's very good for decoration but not much else. It can be used offensively or defensively, I should say, and was used by Clan Glimmergem, the clan that Golden Plate overthrew 2,000 years ago, or helped to overthrow. And so now they basically, one of the things that Clan Golden Plate inherited was the right to mine lusterine. So that's one of their primary materials. Jade, I think, is another one. I actually don't know much about like where jade comes from, so I might skip that one for now while I look it up. But if someone else wants to look up like what jade actually is, I don't know very much about it. But because lusterine was kind of green, I like the idea that there was maybe some connection. That maybe lusterine is like a type of jade or is similar in some way to jade. Gold, I know for sure. The heavily or prevalent in the southeastern corners of Coombe. Gold is actually considered a cheap and dull metal by the dwarves. Soft, easily manipulated. It's not as prized as silver. So I like that idea that silver actually means a lot more to the dwarves, because they're so about like mithril and stuff, that like you can have gold, but it's sort of seen as being tawdry, right? It's seen as being cheap and not as good material as silver. I'm gonna look up some jade information because I don't know very much about jade. Let me look it up on my phone. That'll help my poor computer that is struggling to do all of these things at once. That's okay. So what is like... Is it just a type of stone? I wasn't sure. Like for some reason in my brain, I think of jade as being like a fossil, but that's probably ignorant. I don't actually know much about the geology of jade. I must have my location for some reason. It's a mineral. Naturally. Okay. Yeah. There's not much else to know, I guess. Silicate material. Nephrite, jadeite. Yeah, okay. It's found primarily in East Asian, South Asian, and Southeast Asian art, but an important place in many cultures. Yeah, okay. Well, yeah, we'll just say then that, like, lusterine is a type of jade. Sharing a deep green color with lusterine. I'm sharing a deep green color. Jade and lusterine are actually types of the same mineral. actually types of the same mineral. The latter simply more magical than the former. Yeah, okay. It's like a magic jade, essentially. Okay, so those are their materials. What I like about these materials is that they're not very practical, right? Like they're all kind of about appearance and decoration, and I think that's really key to who Golden Plate is as a clan. We have the underclans category, or other clans category. I think I can pull the True Silver bit and just paste it over. And then maybe we'll talk about politics, because I have that idea down. But I know nothing about prominent members or seat or any of that. So let me go pull the True Silver blurb out about their relations. I'm kind of this way with my notes where, like, I'm very concerned about formatting. As you can see, I really love bullet points. Bullet points are all over the place. But if you look under True Silvers here, Golden Plate. So following the destruction of Clan Glimmergem, their usurpers became toadies of the court. They were mainly viewed as sycophants, fawning over Clan True Silver, and were often disliked or scorned at court. So yeah, the idea is that, like, because the True Silvers lifted the Golden Plates up and put them in their current position, that they always kind of fawned over the True Silvers and were very loyal and a little, toady-ish. Great. So Glimmergem was basically like a rival clan to True Silver. Way back in the day when the kingdom was kind of newly founded and the original monarch, Durzov, had just died, there was some contest between some rivalry between these two different clans, True Silver and Glimmergem. Glimmergem basically made a play for the throne, and they were ultimately defeated in kind of a bloody civil war relatively early in Coom's history. So they're not around and haven't been around for a very long time. Most modern dwarves wouldn't have any knowledge or opinion about Glimmergem, so it's probably not super relevant, but just for my notes and my edification, I like the idea that Clan Golden Plate always fawned over Clan Glimmergem and supported them loyally all throughout the war. Only when Clan True Silver approached them did they consider betraying them. Approached the clan, did they consider betrayal at all? So it kind of makes them like into a little bit of bootlickers, right? That like whoever has the most authority, Clan Golden Plate will turn on. Again, and these are like historical trends. They're not necessarily truisms. It's just like, if you look at them historically, this is kind of how they have acted in foreign policy, right, with other clans. I don't have much for their underclans, and that's something that we'll come back to. I feel like they're kind of a grab bag of various different underclan ideas, but we'll talk about that. And then let's talk about politics. So the idea with the politics section here is that it's about what is the current political situation like among the clan. And then there's a very early encounter in the campaign where Harada, the claimant that the party is supporting, basically makes her claim, stakes her claim and says, hey, this is how I'm descended from the True Silvers. I'm declaring myself Queen of Coom. And depending on how the characters fare in a skill challenge, which was actually Vaughn's idea, that determines whether the other clans kind of fall in line or whether they rebel, sort of something like that, right? Because Golden Plate isn't actually making a claim. It's more about who of the three claimants will they actually support. So let me look at a previous politics section to get a sense. So like for Deep Vein here, it says, Clan Deep Vein makes a claim for the throne. While they have no legitimate claim, they argue that they are the only ones to preserve the old ways. Without strong leadership, they argue, Coom will scarce emerge from the sorrows, or what's worse, humans will snatch their wealth away from them. This is Dwarven stone that belongs to true dwarves. So it's kind of like their current political leanings. And then when like Harada makes her claim, the party has a chance to persuade each of the elder clans to her cause. So let's copy that over, and then let's write a little blurb about their politics. So I think that they're kind of malleable. I don't think that Clan Golden Plate really gives a shit who's on the throne. They just want someone to be on the throne, right? So whoever will basically offer them the most legitimacy, I think that they back. So let's say, how do we summarize that? What Clan Golden Plate wants more than anything else is legitimacy. And this is what is interesting, right? That like in any other circumstance, like they've been an elder clan for 2,500 years, right? Like, but from basically like now to 500 years before Christ was born, right? Like such a long time that like humans would have forgotten about any kind of like dynastic or, like claims of legitimacy. Like we're so far removed, but it's meant to be an example of like the way Dwarven minds think, that like the rest of the clans always kind of viewed Golden Plate as being uppity underclansmen, right? That like they never deserved the title that they had, even though it happened 2,500 years ago. The dwarves still remember and still kind of think of them that way. So again, it doesn't make any sense on a human scale, but these aren't humans, right? They're dwarves. Not only do they live longer, but they also like have these great memories and they hold grudges through families and these blood feuds forever and ever and ever, right? Which I like that. I think that tells you a lot about them as a culture, that they don't move past old slights. Is legitimacy in the eyes of the crown. They are happy to support whomever so long as they are treated exactly the same as any other elder clan and their ancient history is forgotten. I like that. It's forgotten. They are extremely prone to flattery, which I like because it's easy to persuade them, but it's also easy for someone else to persuade them, right? So like, let's say, you said, I want to be king, and the Golden Plate said, great, we will support you if you do this, and you do that, and you're like, cool, you have their support. But then someone else comes along and says, hey, we will, like, we also want to be king, we'll support you, and we'll do this. Like, if they can kind of easily be bribed with like more legitimacy. I don't think it's with wealth, but it's like with power or influence, right? They're a little spineless in that way. I think that's kind of neat. They're extremely prone to flattery, which makes them easy to convince. Of anything. Okay, cool. So, the heads. Oh, stop that. The heads of Clan Golden Plate are ready to swear fealty to whichever claimant can provide a match for their son. So my thought here is that like the current leadership of Clan Golden Plate is basically like not childless, but like a pair of sort of doting parents, right? They have a child that they want married off, and they want to marry that child to the claimant, right? Either to them or to someone high up in their family. So what's great about that is I like the notion that they have a son and they want to marry their son to Harada, right? And so the immediate conflict there is that Harada, who's this like former adventurer, very kind of blustery barbarian character, that's the last thing she wants is to marry some kind of like spoiled golden princeling. But if you do, all you have to do is say yes, and you have this clan's backing, right? And if she says no, which it seems likely that she will do, that it would not be that hard for one of the other claimants to snatch him up and get their claim, right? So let's look at this again. I want to look at the way I've formatted these. So, on a success, this person remains staunchly unconvinced and is not shy about saying so, but a keen eye detects that her sister and enforcer appears swayed by the testimony. Okay, so the idea here is that, like, on a success, Clan Golden Plate is enthusiastic about Harada's claim. Enthusiastic about Harada's claim. And immediately proposes marriage between the two of them. They're very willing to swear fealty. But will not let the issue die. On a failure, they doubt Harada's chances and consider one of the other clans either Deep Vein or Iron Spring. We're kind of like two rival clans that both want the throne, and they're sort of rivals' big contenders, or Harada's big contenders, as a potential marriage option for their son. Okay. I think that's most everything that I know about Golden Plate at this time. I have some vague ideas about their philosophy, but I don't want to nail that down quite yet. So let's talk a little bit about these two characters. Let's go to prominent members. I think we have like three big ones. We have basically both ends of the couple, and then we have the child. I'm curious about... I want to roll for this. I kind of like the idea that it's like a same-sex couple, because I don't have any like big same-sex couples in any big positions of prominence in the campaign right now. Oh, cool. It's like two women. I like that. Yeah, there's like something fun about like two moms that are trying to hook up their son. You know, that's cute. So we have mom 1, and then we have mom 2, and then we have son. So for this section, these are just kind of like vroom vroom out there. These are just kind of little short profiles on who these characters are. If they're two parents, you know, you typically kind of want to like contrast them against each other a little bit, right? That they're not the same personality. Like they get along, but it's more interesting if they have some differences between them. So I'm trying to figure out like what are the personalities of these two dwarves. I like them both being kind of doting, and that the child's like maybe a little bit of a space case, or like not particularly appealing as a match. I think to make it maximally dramatically interesting, they have to seem like a really odd pair for Harada. If Harada is this kind of like blustery, adventurous, impulsive, you know, kind of like rabble-rouser, then it feels like the child, the son, should be sort of weak-willed and I'm thinking about like I think his name is Prince Wu in the 4th season of Legend of Korra, where he's kind of like a party animal, but he's like kind of a braggart and a blowhard. That's not quite right. I kind of want him to be sort of a weakling, right? Like someone that Harada wouldn't really respect. So this is a male dwarf. I'll have to come up with a name. The only child of... Yeah, I think that's it, Vaughn. I think he's really spoiled. I like that. Of mom and mom. Son is a spoiled brat. I think that's a good contrast to Harada, too, who's like lived her whole life as an adventurer and has had to do everything for herself, right? Like, she's this kind of like, doesn't like to delegate, doesn't like to rely on other people, you know? So if this is someone who is just constantly had everything handed to him, I think that really works. Whose entire life was handed to him on a silver platter. That's a really interesting idea, actually, because that kind of spins off into who is this, like what happened and what conditions were they in. I think some of these clans, when they left, were kind of impoverished. But I like the idea that Golden Plate actually did really well, because, let's go back up here to history and say, like, Clan Golden Plate was among the first to flee Coombe during the Sorrows, and weathered the exile, one of the best. For they were rich in gold, right? Yeah, I could see that, Vaughn, right? Like, I was thinking about that, about how Cut would feel about this character, right? Like, if the party decides to sort of, like, let it happen, you know, what's Cut's reaction? Because, like, politically, it's a good match. You know, you get this, especially if he's, like, kind of weak-willed, then Harada can sort of do what she wants without having to, like, deal with a strong personality, but she's gonna hate it, and is Cut gonna be okay with her marrying this fop, right? They're rich in gold. I love the idea that, like, Golden Plate was seen as being tacky in Coombe, but when they left, they realized that, like, wait a minute, the thing that we have is the thing that everyone else in the world values, right? Gold is common and low in Coombe, but very valuable out elsewhere. And so they actually managed to do well kind of in human lands, and they're now coming in with, like, a great amount of wealth and all this. Like, they haven't really lost any station or anything. They've gained a bunch of it, but they don't have the legitimacy, right? Like, they're very wealthy, but they don't have what they really want, and that's legitimacy. I think that's cool. On a golden platter, excuse me. On a golden platter. Yeah. Encourage the boy to take a lover. And, like, again, maybe it works out. Maybe it doesn't. It's really going to depend on how the players do it. The only child of mom and mom. Son is a spoiled brat whose entire life was handed to him on a golden platter. He is entitled. He is whiny. He is a coward with no practical experience as a warrior. He is an excellent courtier, though. Well-versed in gossip. And intrigue. So like yeah, he would be around rich people. He would kind of know how to deal with that stuff, but he's got no, like, practical adventure-y skills. None of the things that you would want him to have, right? I want to think of some, like, physical trait about him. I think they're blonde, the Golden Plates. And we'll talk maybe about this a little bit more, but they're very into, like, weird, elaborate hairstyles. I think it's a big thing about their culture, right? That they have the best beards and the best barbers and the best grooming, right? They're all about their, like, physical appearance. So I like the idea of the Golden Plates having kind of, like, outlandish outfits or costumes or whatever it is. Like, the Bright Shards, the merchant clan, has a tendency to, like, wear wigs and sometimes fake beards because they shave themselves. Yeah, interesting. Yeah, I like that, Vaughn. I feel like one of his mothers or both are competent go-getters. They made their clan great after the Sorrows. Yeah, exactly. There's I have an instinct to almost make them, like, kind of the same person. You know what I mean? Like, rather than having them be two distinct entities, I like the notion that, like, they are kind of samey, that it's, like, easy to get them confused, and that they wear similar clothes, and they have kind of, like, sort of two of a kind. I think that's interesting. I might even make them, like, one entry here. Yeah, that they're not, like, they, like, finish each other's sentences, and they're, like, very in love, and yeah, I think that's cool. Right, yeah, they've been so successful their son can goof off his whole life. Yep, that's exactly right. So let's do it like this. Mom 1 and Mom 2. Female dwarves. So did they... I think that they are the daughters... Well, they can't both be, right? Like, they're different people from different families. But they are, like, the descendants... Oh, I think one of them was, like, a petty dwarf. Or something, right? One of them was, or from an exterior clan. Yeah, maybe let's break them up. I like them being very similar, but let's break this up, actually. I was wrong. Mom 2. Female dwarf. From an exterior clan, right? So there's, again, there's a lot of there's like elder, under, inner, and outer, right? So an outer clan, from an outer clan, Mom 2 met and married Mom 1 when they were living in exile. When they were living in exile and has never seen Coom until now. Very deeply in love. In love. She wants nothing. Oop. She and Mom 1 share one mind about almost everything. Ugh. God, stop that. Share one mind about almost everything, including how much they love their son. They love their worthless son. Okay, and then female dwarf. The scion of House Golden Plate. Or of Clan Golden Plate. Golden Plate. Mom 1 met and married Mom 2 while her clan was living in exile. Yeah, she's there. She's very. It's almost the exact same statement. Like, they are kind of the same person. They've been married. They're like an older couple. They've been married for a while, and they like are kind of finishing each other's sentences. You know, it's like that thing where they're like they're kind of dressing similarly. You know, that like kind of confluence of identity. Yeah, that's cool. Okay, so those are, I think, our prominent members. Let's talk really briefly about the peer council. The notion of the peer council here is that it is it's like the Congress, essentially, that every clan is ruled by a Thane. And I think technically Mom 1 is the Thane here, if she's the like descendant of the patriarch or whatever. But every Thane is basically kept in check by this legislative body called the Peer Council, who mainly oversees like building projects, but their influence can sometimes extend into other ways. Basically, they are in charge of how the clan's resources are spent. Ooh, that's interesting, Vaughn says. Are they blind to their son's lack of ability, or are they well aware of it and plan to continue mothering him even after marriage? Huh. I think these are really great questions, Vaughn. You're like digging into these two. My instinct is that that's the one area where they're different. That one of the parents thinks, because my first instinct is that they're blind to how useless he is, right? Because that's more like dramatically interesting. That like it's like that thing no one will say that he's useless. But I kind of think it might be fun to differentiate them by having one of them know that he's useless and the other one not know. So I think that like the Mom 1, she is hopelessly optimistic about son and sees the world in him. And then Mom 2, she is cannily aware of her son's ineptitude, and while she loves him, believes he'll need a firm hand. Yeah. I love that. Good thinking, man. So the peer council then, like, we don't have to have a lot about them, but it's kind of like, what is their relationship to the kind of the rest of the clan? How does the rest of the clan think of them? Because the peer council is made up of masters from from the whole clan. I like the idea of, let's look at how I did it for Deep Vein. Yeah, it took some unpleasant politics, but the Deep Vein Peer Council is in lockstep with Somavi, who's their kind of like fascistic leader, and her traditionalist ideals. Those who disagree were shunned by the Dwarven clan, and now fear rules them. They don't dare vote down one of her policies. So that doesn't feel right here. You know, it feels like, would they try to be a check on their power? Would the clan, like, does the clan, it feels to me like the clan knows Sun sucks, right? Maybe you could do it that way, where like the masters disapprove of him, but the parents don't. It's tricky. Because again, you have to remember, these are like big groups. They did get very wealthy during the Sorrows, so it would make some sense that they would like have swollen in size and influence, right? If we... Those are cool. I have to look at my Dwarven names. I'm like pretty strict about those. I like Orion though, because it has that like Orion A-U-R, right? But like... I'm trying to think of what's interesting politically here. Let me look at how I have my other peer councils set up. Just to get some variation. Deep Vein. So Bright Shard basically doesn't have one for sort of secret-y reasons. They're basically puppets of a trading company. And then the peer council for clan Oathshield, which is an underclan but an important one. What do I have for them? I say, thanks to an odd tradition, the peer council is small enough that they don't present much challenge to Ovda. They are continually exasperated by the sheer size of Crownstone and are confounded at ways to reduce its needs, right? Okay. And then the peer council... Oh, we didn't do it for... Hey, look at this! Look at that. Cut Blade Forger. A more sensible foil to Harada's temper, Cut is Harada's former lover and possibly the father of her bastard child. He is the cold rationality behind her impulsive fire, and as such, they don't always agree. An ever-present advisor, Cut and Harada have an on-again, off-again relationship. Yeah. Ooh, that's cool, Vaughn. Yeah, maybe they're based on human councils. So let me see. They wouldn't have any humans in them, but like I think that they are. Yeah, it's tough because like there's a lot of like crossover with Brightshard, because Brightshard is also kind of a human-influenced clan, but they're much more mercantile. So let's maybe skip the peer council for now, and we'll come back to it. Let's talk. Okay, we can either talk about famous personages, and these are like famous famous golden plates in their history, usually Thanes, but not always. We could talk about their underclans. We could talk about their philosophy. We could talk about their seat. I might quick do philosophy. Yeah. So let's do their philosophy. Status is the thing they care about the most. To a golden plate, what matters most is how you are seen. Appearances and titles and outfits. Appearances and outfits and titles and decorations are everything. Ruling doesn't simply mean power. Prestige is equally important. They understand keenly what is said about them and work very hard to keep those things. I don't like that sentence. But they're all about like how they look and how they are received and how they are like presented. You know, it's tricky because like they're kind of meant to be sort of a crappier clan. Like they're not one of these like big great movers and shakers. They have a lot of influence and a lot of wealth, right? Ooh, sure, that's interesting. They're absolutely beautiful. That's cool. I like that, Vaughn. Ruling doesn't simply mean power. Prestige is equally important. Beauty stands above all. Beauty stands above all. Yeah, from beauty flows success. Flows success. And those that I'm just trying to like, how would you run an organization, like a clan or a company with these ideals, right? That like, I think they were like worshipped by humans. I think that like they were so kind of luxurious. They were like celebrities outside of Coombe, and now they've come back and the dwarves don't give a shit about them, right? That like that still kind of hangs over their head. From beauty flows celebrity, and from celebrity flows success. So maybe that tells us like a little bit about their peer council. Because I think that the peer council, like I like the idea of like nested sycophants. So if like Golden Plate is kind of sycophantic to, you know, whoever has the power, then the peer council would be sycophantic to the sovereigns or the thanes because they have the power, right? Like they are all a squad of yes men. Unlike Clan Deepvein, yeah, I do think that their like works of art are absolutely beautiful, right? And that's what makes them important. But I think it's like beautiful to humans. I think that dwarves can kind of see it for being tacky and gaudy, right? Like artwork. Art is more important than war, and beauty more important. Yeah, and again, prestige is more important than power. Art is greater than war. And war. And because it's not necessarily about like glory. It's not necessarily about like deeds so much as it is about like possession, right? Like having things. It's tough again because it feels like they're running right up against Brightshard, where Brightshard's all about wealth and this is about beauty, and they seem very similar, right? Yeah, that's right. Art is greater than war, and beauty is greater than durability. Beauty is greater than durability. That's a good hit. Than endurance. Right? It doesn't matter how long it lasts because it's a soft metal, right? Gold is pretty, but it's soft, easily malleable. Cool. Yeah, ephemeral is a good word for that. Clan Golden Plate's peer council views. Use Mom 1 and Mom 2 as celebrities. And they as a celebrity power couple, right? That like the clan is like behind them. They're like the Kardashians to the rest of the clan. Couple. And worships the ground they walk on. It's like all vanity, right? And like, you know, every minor thing. So the peer council supports them because they think of them as being like Like, I can also see the Pure Council as being kind of gossipy, right? Like, when this is happening or that's happening. But it's this, like, almost like Beyonce worship, right? Where they're beautiful and radiant and sparkling. And the clan is, like, kind of in lockstep, but in a different way. In Clan Deep Vein, they're afraid of their kind of fascistic leader. In Clan Golden Plate, they're in love with their, like, beautiful, glimmering goddess, right? Yeah, that's cool. So famous personages, underclans, and the seat itself. Let's talk about the seat. So I don't really have an idea here. What we know is that they used to mine their gold in their old place, and they're basically that they never really got a seat befitting an elder clan. That they have basically stayed in their previous seat because, yeah, the designers who can do no wrong. But their legacy is not secure because their heir is beautiful but not built to endure. Yeah, that's cool. I like that. Yeah, that kind of culty Steve Jobs thing is really interesting. So the notion with the seat is that it is it's like Clan Glimmergem, right? Clan Glimmergem used to. Their seat was a place called I haven't decided the name. I think it's something like 10 Pillars, and it was this big beautiful mountain seat. The idea was that they had like carved out a chunk of the mountain and built pillars to support it, right? So there was like this big veranda area. The point being, none of that matters, is that when they rebelled in the Glimmergem Rebellion, the true Silvers took a long time, but eventually crushed them and like utterly routed them and completely like blasted out their entire hold. And so now it stands there as like a monument to their hubris, right? To their defeat. There's nothing there anymore. And so, again, kind of by royal edict, Golden Plate was never allowed to move into Glimmergem's hold. It has to kind of remain there as the symbol of Glimmergem's defeat. So, that to me means that Golden Plate is still in their original, like, ancestral seat, right? Which I think is, like, too small to be to be sort of considered a proper elder seat, right? It's not a huge, glorious hall. It's fine, but they never really grew to the same size as some of the other elder clans. They never really had the same resources because there's only so much of the Lusterine they can mine without kind of like crossing the royal interdict. So their place, despite all of their like, talks about grandiosity and all that stuff, it's actually smaller and humbler. I think they've done a lot to like make it beautiful, but I think there's like an inherent sense that it's too small for them, right? That they don't really fit in this. It would be like, having a studio apartment and really just getting the most expensive furniture, all the best stuff. But at the end of the day, it is still a tiny studio apartment. And I think that's kind of the vibe here. I don't know like what its cool thing is, So a lot of these like seats have incredible things about them. Like in Horn Hollow, right, is a hollowed out mountain that you blow into and it like vibrates in the chamber of the mountain. Mistmont is like a mountain that's covered with waterfalls that creates these like, beautiful, it's got all the aqueducts in Coombe spread out from Mistmont. Sunken Seat is like at the bottom of this extremely deep chasm, and it's the deepest point in all of Coombe, right? True Throne is this huge, we've talked about it, this massive mountain that's basically turned into a city, and there's bridges leading to a seat on the throne. Like, what is the, like, what's the big thing that they have? Like, I feel like it's small, it's diminished in size and importance than it would be from some of the other places. I mean, like, Clan Cloud Peak has a flying castle, right, that flies around Coombe. So they're normally these huge, grandiose things. What does Clan Golden Plate have that would kind of just be dwarfed, see what I did there, by these other Elder Clan seats? Let me write down some of these ideas. I feel like I don't have like the hook on it yet. after the Glimmergem Rebellion, clan Golden Plate was never permitted to relocate to, I forget what the Glimmergem hold is called, and thus was forced to run their operation out of their old. I could also see them building a new one, right? That they like would kind of spare no expense and build this like huge Xanadu, right? Like this massive like glimmering palace to try to show off like we're wealthy too. Like maybe they did move, but they weren't allowed to move into the hold of the other clan, you know? That's interesting. It's a townhouse that got turned into a Capitol building. Yeah, basically. I like the idea of them building something really big and gaudy, like a horrible eyesore. You know, like a gold-plated mountain or something like really ostentatious and like too much, you know? I like the idea of a gold-plated mountain. It makes me think of that scene in fucking The Hobbit, right? That stupid scene with that big dumb golden dwarf. Like, what if they poured molten gold over this mountain, right? Yeah, like they built a regular hold. Maybe it's their original hold. And then they just like they poured molten gold over the top of it and it hardened, right? Like, and now there's this like, you know, the peak of one of these mountains is this shining, brilliant beacon that can be seen from miles away. It's all covered in snow now, right? But like, I kind of like that. You know, they would have like carved things on the side of the mountain to let the gold like flow over it. That's kind of neat. Yeah. A golden mountain peak. That shines like a beacon when the sun hits it. Sun hits it. Name was once the humbler seat. Was once clan Golden Plates. And again, it's like golden plate. It's like golden plated, right? Golden plate. I'd be tempted to call it Golden Peak, but I feel like we've already got Cloud Peak, so I might want to come up with a different Golden Summit or something like that, but that's humbler hold until their ascension when they splurged. You spell ascension, I don't know. When they splurged on this extravagance. I mean, like, is it too much to suggest that, like, the entire place is, like, gold-plated? You know, that it poured down through all the halls and the floors and everything, that, like, it's like Trump Tower, right? It's just gold in there. I kind of think that's cool, right? And like they're like the dwarves are kind of like, no, that's tacky, you know. In the same way that we would think it's tacky to just have everything be gold, but they think it's, you know, beautiful. Yeah, I kind of like that. That it's just like this absurd, like ludicrous amount of gold that, like, to a human is like boggling how much money is there, but the dwarves didn't really care about it, right? And it didn't mean anything in Coombe. It was like making your house out of tin or something like that. But that's the thing they had the most of, you know, and they couldn't get access to enough lusterine. And I mean, there's other metals, right? There's lusterine and jade and stuff like that that's in there. But I like the idea of like golden floors and golden walls and golden statues, and everything has this like patina of gold all across it. Yeah, that's pretty cool. Almost like a gold volcano, right? That like came down the sides. The entire interior of the hold is carpeted in melted gold. The walls, the ceilings, the doors, the statues. It is worth uncountable trillions in the outside world, but is utterly meaningless to the dwarves, right? Yeah, I love that. Golden weapons, yeah. How on earth would they keep people from coming to take that gold? Yeah. Ooh, Golden Spire's not bad. I don't hate that. Sorry, I moved my things around. I didn't see the chat. That's a great question, Vaughn, because like my instinct would be that, yeah, that like when they come back, it's like all peeled off, right? I think that if it's just the peak, that because there's been so much snow, that it's covered that peak, right? Like, so like they might know it's there, but the thing is that like there's nobody really in Coombe at this time, you know. The dragons are around, I guess, you know. Gold Point Peak. Yeah, I want to avoid Peak. I don't mind Gold Point. Isn't bad. Let me see how that looks. I don't think I have a point yet. Gold Point. Golden Spire. I think I like the look of Golden Spire more than I like the Gold Point. But like Golden Point? Golden Point isn't terrible. So I'll put some options. I usually with a big name like this, I gotta sit with it. You know me, man. I'm like all about. I'm so picky about names. Golden Spire, Golden Peak. Yeah, I don't know. I like the idea that it's covered in snow, but I also think it's cool if a lot of it got like scraped off, you know. And if they come back and they're like, oh yeah, we'll repair it. Like they don't care. It doesn't mean anything. Yeah. Cool. I think actually them using golden weapons is like an interesting idea because it would be like totally ceremonial, right? The idea of them even having weapons is like, well, you know, they're never going to use them to fight, right? Like that, like the idea that their armor would be golden or gold plated or whatever. It's like everything is covered in gold and it makes it really impractical. And that feels very right for them, right? They are kind of this impractical clan. Yeah, I think that's neat. Yeah, and again, like a regular adventurer would go there and their fucking jaw would fall off, right? Like it's just absurd. So let's think of like 3 cool like locations inside this place, Golden Point, whatever. I'm leaning towards Golden Point. I think it's kind of cool. So let me see some other examples. So like Sunken Seat has the massive stalactite that hangs from the ceiling of the chamber that comes all the way down, the miles and miles of mines that run beneath the cracked rim, which is the mountain range in that area, and then the throne, which is constructed at the very base of the stalactite, and it's mere inches above the swirling chaos of Yogg. What's cool about Deep Vein is that like their metal is sacristeel, which is like the final mantle of the Earth's core before you get to Yogg. And so they don't realize this, but they're chipping away at the thing that keeps Yogg in there. And the seat is like inches of sacristeel above Yogg. And so you can see that there's like swirling something underneath there. And they just think it's like that. That's the core. Then I realize that it's Yogg. Which is fun because like, could Yogg influence them? Who knows? What are some other ones that we have just for more inspiration? I like Stone Street. So the Clan Brightshard was kicked out of their hold, and so they basically have like a Wall Street style place in one of the human towns in Port Summer. So it's Constructed around the city's central bazaar, it resembles nothing so much as a stock exchange with merchants haggling over prices. And then much of the clan dwells in like penthouses and balconies that ring the structure's bottom level. Stone Street doesn't delve into the earth because the ground here is really like soft and icy. It's constructed entirely on the surface. You know, it's got trading floor, it's got counting houses, it's got vaults, that kind of thing, right? Like, so what are some cool locations that would be here? There's got to be like a golden waterfall, right? That just like perpetually kind of like churns out molten gold. Like the centerpiece of it is this golden waterfall. A golden waterfall that rains down from above. Some other cool locations. They would presumably have like really expansive wardrobes, right? Yeah, expansive wardrobes. And probably like a almost like a hair college, right? Like a beauty, like not even a beauty salon, but yeah, like beauty salons, right? Where like the grooming is done. You know, like most dwarven holds will have one of those, but they have these like extensive, you know, all these different tools and things for that, right? Like they're very concerned about what you're wearing and how you smell and your beard and everything like that. That fill an entire level. Like one more cool location inside there. Ooh, made a model of Coom in gold. That's cool. That's kind of neat. Lego as models of cities. I think that's a cool idea. I don't know if it's here, but I like the idea of that existing somewhere, right? Of like someone having a cool little one. I could see a hanging garden. I mean, the gold mine feels big too. Yeah, like deep gold mines. I like that idea of Coom. I don't know that it would be here, that they would care that much about it. But I like the idea of like Coom in miniature somewhere. It feels like something that maybe would be in True Throne, honestly. Yeah, that's cool. I'll file that away. I like that idea. I don't think they would have hanging gardens because I don't think they care about plants. But I think they would presumably have a gold mine. I mean, they would have to, right? Yeah. And I love the idea that, like, it's the amount of gold that they would have to do this is, like, absurd. Right? Like, you could cure world hunger multiple times over if they didn't just, like, hoard this stuff, you know? And they use it in the most, like, stupidly ostentatious way you could imagine, right? Like, I love that it's, like, all the world's problems could be solved if you would just not pour this over your walls. So something about the mine. I don't really know anything about gold mines. What's interesting? It would all be like hidden away. They wouldn't want you to see any of that stuff, right? Yeah, I like the idea that it's like they can grow golden apples. Ooh, what if it's like a garden that's entirely made out of gold, right? Like that there's golden fruit and stuff like that. That like you can walk. Yeah, that's it. It's like a garden where everything is shaped and carved from gold, right? Trees, bushes, shrubs, animals, right? And it's just like a pointless frippery that you like walk through, you know? Yeah, I love that. That's cool. Yeah, good job. Huh? Nice thinking. And then we only have one more category for these fools. Two more. So they're underclans and they're famous personages. So for underclans, I'm trying to think. So the way I do these is that I usually pick a number of clans that have come back. Sometimes I'll usually do like one or two that didn't make it out. So a little spoilery, but Deep Vein, I have 5 of them listed here. A lot of them didn't make it. So Copper Keel and Silk Spindle didn't make it out. Stone Splitter, Broadbeam, and Blade Forger are here. And the idea is that like these are people who still support the clan even after the sorrows, right? So usually an elder clan would have anywhere between 5 to 7 underclans, but the idea here is that not all of them have come back. So only 3 of them are currently supporting Deep Vein. Brightshard has, I think, 3 as well, maybe 4. Yeah, Brightshard has 3. So 3 is like usually a good watchword. I think True Silver only has 2 that came back. It really just depends clan to clan. But they tend to be clans that obviously have a smaller focus, smaller in number, a little bit more specialized. They don't have like a unique mineral, but they oftentimes will do things that are complementary to the focus of the big clan. So Deep Vein, for an example, are all about digging, and they're all about mining, and they're very concerned with like staying underground, and they don't really care about the surface, and they're, again, the most traditionalist dwarves. So then you have people like Clan Broadbeam, who make sturdy tunnels and supports. You have Clan Bladeforger, who make fine magical weapons with the sacristeel that they mine, right? You have Copperkeel, who plied the Ever Lake. You have Stone Splitter, who make diamond pickaxes, and then Silk Spindle, who bred Umber Hulks and Purple Worms to help them dig tunnels. We could do Silver, but Silver is already kind of in the purview of True Silver. But ooh, what if one of the clans? I was thinking about that. What if one of the clans was never a clan of Coom? Kind of like Ember Axe, right? Ooh, Platinum's interesting. But I like the idea that maybe there is a silver mining clan, or like an Electrum clan, that comes back with them, right? That when they were in human lands, they picked up this other clan. Maybe it's even Mom 2's clan. Yeah, Mom 2. Mom 2. I like the idea that they're like an Electrum clan. Electrum clan. Like, they had, like, a silver mine in the outside world, and they kind of teamed up with Clan Goldenplate to make Electrum, right? To kind of make Goldenplate's gold last as long as it could. And I think they innovated the concept of it, right? Innovated the concept of Electrum by blending gold and silver. The patron clan of Mom 2. Never a Kumish, never an inner clan. Accompanying Clan Golden Plate. And looking to make a name for themselves here. That, like, there's, again, it kind of mirrors their original rise, right? That they were like lifted, and so Golden Plate kind of did that. Like, well, we will lift you up to become an inner clan. Like, I think that's cool. Seat, they don't have one, none. They're looking to claim one, right? Cool. So what's a clan that they would have worked with, right? Like, how do you make perfume? You know? I like the idea, too, of a clan. Ooh, I don't know what they make, but I like the idea of, like, a rival underclan. So, I don't know if they're still around. Maybe they are. One underclan with ancient beef. When Golden Plate was still an underclan. How do I frame this? The idea is that, like, they never forgot when Golden Plate betrayed Glimmergem? and like basically the clan that like didn't get elevated, right? That they remained loyal to Glimmergem. They bent the knee to the True Silvers, but they never forgot that it was the Golden Plates. So like they technically now have to serve the Golden Plates, so they remember that they were traitors, right? So there's like kind of this tension. Whether they would come back, I don't know, but I like the idea that one of the underclans of Golden Plate like actively hates them, right? And is like there kind of to spite them, and they never got along, and that never repaired. I don't know what they do, but I like that like if one of the banner clans, one of the underclans got lifted up, why was it Golden Plate and not another one? And that's in the schism that creates. And have resented them ever since. They only returned almost to spite Golden Plate. And it's been, again, thousands of years. But they remember. Yeah, and then I like the idea of someone that's a little bit more focused on their goods, right? So where's the fashion that's come from? An underclan? It could. I feel like it would flow from Golden Plate. The Golden Plate would would set the fashions, right? So we have a silk clan, right, who gets silk. I don't know that they necessarily design clothes, but you could have a clothes clan, you could have a beard clan, but again, that kind of feels like what Golden Plate does. Like, they set dwarven fashions. So they are influential, but I think that it's only in these superficial ways. Yeah, a jeweler clan. Maybe that's the rival clan. I kind of like that. Yeah, did they make jewels? A jeweler clan. We have another one that's kind of a jeweler clan, but there would definitely be more than one, right? What's the other? I think it's Glass Garden? Glass Grower? Yeah. They're crystals. Yeah, they grow quartz crystals. So they're known for like fabulous lenses used in spectacles, jewelers' lobes, telescopes, goggles, helmets, and even a divination. They regard the crystals as living things akin to plants and treat them with utmost respect. And they have a place called... They like live inside a huge geode. But that's bright shards. So yeah, I want one that's like a weird, non-traditional dwarven thing. So something like beards, or like my instinct. Yeah, it's like perfume. You know, like a weird thing that nobody cares about and isn't like a load-bearing thing, right? Something like a clan that the Golden Plates would think of as being vital, but other clans would think of as being dumb, right? I want to see how perfume is made. Because it's like scents and stuff, right? Like, they're almost like alchemists, you know? I watched that movie, but it's been years since I've seen it, the one with Dustin Hoffman. But again, I like it being something like, again, like you say, Vaughn, ephemeral or kind of useless that other dwarves would think of as being... Ooh, it could be the chefs. Yeah, that's kind of an enjoyment thing rather than an appearance thing. But we do have a chef clan I've yet to like attach to anyone, so that's an option. I want to see perfume, aroma compounds, fixatives, and solvents. But it's all like weird shit, right? Like natural aromatics and chemists. It doesn't feel very dwarven to me. Yeah, like almond and coriander. It feels very herbalist, right? Alchemists could cover all kinds of stuff like cuisine. Yeah. I'm trying to think. Because I've like... It's a big surprise. I have very developed ideas about dwarven cuisine. We talked about this idea that like it used to be... It wasn't about taste. The dwarves don't care about how food tastes, or they didn't traditionally. The dwarven cuisine was just about like getting as much like energy out of their food as you possibly could. It was all nutrition and no enjoyment. And then when they kind of first had contact with humans is when they discovered like, oh, actually you can eat for pleasure, right? So if that's the case, then yeah, these guys would definitely be the offshoot version of that. They would be like concerned with how food tastes and not with how much energy you get out of it. I think I'm gonna go with alchemists because I like the idea of them caring about perfumes. And there's always a long tradition of alchemy and gold, right? So, like, maybe there's a persistent rumor. Yeah, let's do alchemists. And yeah, I think they can also be involved with food, right? Like, they're always like, it's kind of like the mad science clan. Mixers of perfumes and elixirs. They're mistrusted by the outside, by the rest of the clans, but favored by Golden Plate. There was a persistent rumor that perhaps all Golden Plate's gold. Yeah, exactly, Vaughn. Precisely. Was actually lead. That's a good question, Joey, about brews. We actually have a couple of brewer clans already, but I could see them like making a weird kind of alcohol that's not standard. They're like, I like the idea of them being like weird, freaky, like experimenters, that they make wine or something like that. Like they make stuff that the dwarves that has no history in dwarven culture, right? They're all about experimentation, which I think like fits with the like fashion forward sense of the Golden Plates, right? That they're all about like trying crazy stuff, right? It's not about traditionalism. Yeah, like they brew wine and they make wine and perfume and potions, right? Like it's a very cocktails, yeah. It's a very non-traditional dwarven clan, and that kind of like throws some people. It reminds me a little bit of Iron Wonder, who are the clan that Pigeon was from, Vaughn, if you remember Niev's character. Kind of like Artificers, where like they're a little bit of an oddball clan. Okay, that's cool. I'm not sure which one of these are still around. Electrum definitely is. Jeweler, I think, is cool if it came back. I don't know that the Alchemists came back. We'll have to see, but they do seem kind of fun. Great. So let's do famous personages, and then we might move on. That's actually pretty good, guys. We're almost done with Clan Golden Plate. That's awesome to get a whole Elder Clan done. A couple of names here and there need to be done, but yeah. So let's pull up some examples of previous famous personages of our other clans, just to give a sense of what we're working on here. We have, for Deep Vein, we have Magda, Thane of Deep Vein. This is like the original one. Yes, exactly. It would have been. Vaughn says that traditional dwarven food and ale would have been very unappealing in taste. Yeah, it would have tasted awful, right? It's purely about calories. It's a lot of like kimchi and stuff, right? It's like underground food that they ferment and that you're supposed to eat like one meal and it's supposed to power you throughout the whole rest of the day. And then when humans introduced like bread and cheese and beer even, it like kind of threw dwarven society into chaos because they realized like, wait, you can eat tasty food? Like it had just never occurred to them. So for some famous personages, that's a weird thing to say. We have Magda for Deep Vein, who's kind of like the original Thane, like the founder almost. Famously married into Clan Iron Spring, and then when their marriage soured, it kind of created this like centuries-long schism between Deep Vein and Iron Spring. And we have Kotek the Cursed, who I think is cool. Patriarch of Clan Deep Vein, much of his history is hidden from outsiders, and even the underclans will not speak of it. Rumor of the voices he heard from beneath the stone, the atrocities he committed, the child he found and adopted, called the Grey Daughter, are whispered widely. I like that one a lot. And then we have Odral's Sunscorn. When Clan Deep Vein fled their ancestral seat, the then Thane, known for his stubbornness, blinded himself rather than gaze upon the surface of the sun. The surface or the sun, excuse me. His granddaughter, the current Thane, continued this practice. So again, they're kind of these like mythic figures from inside the clan, right? I can think of at least one off the top of my head, who is like the original. That's Lodestone. Who is the original Golden Plate? Like I don't know anything about them. Name, or like first Thane. This would have been first age. F1. Or whatever it is. I forget. 1A, I think. Yeah, 1A. The original Thane who betrayed Clan Glimmergem. They were briefly revered by Clan Goldenplate, but reviled by everyone else. The Golden Plates still honor them in secret, but pretend to honor them, but only in secret. Like, the idea that, like, their clan was made by this act of betrayal, which was necessary to win the war, but nobody liked them for it, right? It didn't bring them popularity. It was like this kind of original sin that hangs over. So whoever the original Thane was that brokered that first deal, right? Like, they were always kind of treated like shit, and like their name kind of lived on in infamy as like an example of a disloyal underclan. Like, this is what you don't do, right? Even Goldenplate had to kind of back off. They didn't have any exterior statues of them, right? Like, Rat and Snitch, yeah, basically, right? But something like that, where they're very frowned upon, even though they're basically like the founding Thane of the clan, which is nice because it sets up this, like, again, this original sin idea that they never kind of overcame that. So the other two, you kind of need some history stuff, probably. Goldenplate is never really, like, in the forefront of any of the political wheelings and dealings, so we can kind of make these up. What are some interesting... it could be someone who, like, kind of shirks the traditional ideas of what a Goldenplate is. It could be someone who really, like, invests in it. I almost want to do, like a fashion model, kind of, right? That, like, at one point there was some sort of... Whatever reference I make here is going to be dumb, but, like, you know, like a Madonna figure, or, like, you know... Ooh, it became the word for betrayal. Yeah, it's, like, colloquially that. I like that. I would have already had a name for it, but I like the idea of that slang. Their name... It's like Benedict Arnold, right? Like, that's who we're talking about here. Became a slang term. Because as much as there is Dwarven slang for betrayal... Yeah, I think there's, like, somebody that was, like almost like a Liberace, right? Where it's, like, this big, important cultural figure who, I don't know what they sort of pioneered design-wise, but, like, I like the idea that it's, like, something really, what now seems really fundamental to dwarves, and they were the first one to do it. It could have been in the Vanished Time, but I like the idea that it was, like, shaving your head, or something like that had, like, never been done, especially if the dwarves were really, like... Yeah, like, somebody the bald is interesting. And it was, like, a fashion statement. Like, no dwarf would have ever voluntarily cut their own hair at any point. You know, you would shape it, but the idea of, like, shaving completely was this, like, crazy thing. And now it's pretty common for dwarven men to do, right? Because it's seen as being fashionable. Well, crowns definitely have, like, a place in the culture. I like the idea that it's something about hair. And they were always, like, doing, like, garish things, right? Like, so let's say fashion model. I don't know when, but a controversial figure in Dwarven history. Controversial figure in Dwarven history. The fashion model. They were known for their... I think they're male. I think this is a man, right? Rather than... Because my instinct with a fashion model, right, is to always have it be a woman. But I like the idea that it's this kind of, like, daring, avant-garde, like, Ernst-like figure, right? For their daring fashion choices that swept the kingdom. They did something that... They pioneered something that seemed shocking at the time, but is now commonly accepted. Something that seemed shocking at the time. I think the braid would have existed, but I like the idea of the shaved head. I'm not sold on it yet. A crown's a cool idea, but I just have crowns pretty baked into the like ancient history of the Dwarven Kingdom, so it would be tough to say it was this guy at the time, but is now commonplace. Because tattoos also have cultural significance, so it's got to be something that's like purely aesthetic. But you see a lot of, and this was the first guy who did it. Like somebody the bald is my option. Like, there's my thought. Shaved head. Somebody the bald. And then someone who's a little bit more recent would probably be good. They could be connected to the Sorrows. It might be good to figure out, like, what was the political situation like there. Maybe, we talked about this before, that Clan Goldenplate fled really early. Like sort of cowardly early, right? It feels like all these people are negative. We don't have, like, a great example of, like, a brave or a brave or, like, heroic Goldenplate, you know? It's tough. I like the idea that it ties into the Sorrows in some way. I also like the idea that they left first, but I don't know why. You know what I mean? I'm not sure what the impetus was. I don't think that they had forewarning, because that's another clan we'll talk about next time. But I think that they saw the writing on the wall in a certain sense, you know, is why they fled. Somebody the craven, somebody the coward. Yeah, whoever gave the golden plate the early information to flee. They're also the closest to the exit, you know? In terms of, like, where the exit. There's an area called the Gates of Coom, which is like a big, huge Argonath style. It's like a mountain pass that they've carved into this gateway that you can enter. And Golden Plate just geographically is the closest to it. So it does make sense that they would, like, be the first out the door, right? Yeah, and I think it's like, I don't know that they had forewarning. I think they were just like, they started to move their gold out, right, on the off chance. So let's see. Last Thane. During the Sorrows, Last Thane was the first to order his clan to flee. Retreating with... Maybe they'd even been, like, moving... Yeah. Maybe they'd even have moved their gold out in, like... I think once they started to discover that their gold was drying up, I like the idea they started to, like, discreetly, like, ship it out of Coom. This guy had been laying plans to leave when he saw the, like, declining... He'd, like, laid all these plans. Yeah, so he'd already made arrangement with humans and made arrangement with this other clan, this outer clan, right? It was, like, kind of preparing things, yeah. Out in preparation for the Sorrows. The rumor is that he knew something. Something was coming, but whether that's true or not remains to be seen. I like the idea of him being called, like, the Coward, or the Craven. The Craven, the Coward. That, like, he fled right away. Like, they would all end up doing it. Especially the notion that, like, they would have called him that, like, initially, before any of them had decided it got so bad they had to flee, and that they kind of had to eat their words when all the rest of the clans also fled, right? They, like, jumped to calling this guy a coward, and then they had to do it themselves. Yeah, I love that. Cool. Y'all, I think that's Clan Goldenplate. Look at that. We did one whole clan. That's awesome. I have a half an hour, but I think I might call it rather than jumping into another clan. The next clan we're going to do is Clan Lodestone, which are really interesting because they're very different from the other clans. They're, like, super militaristic and religious, and they don't do things the way a lot of other clans do. So I'm excited to talk about Lodestone. There are some big spoilers in Lodestone as well. Yeah, cool. That's awesome. we're almost done with these clans, y'all. I've got some minor clans I should probably flesh out as well, but that was awesome. Golden Plate has been kind of hanging over my head as one of those ones I hadn't really figured out in a major way. But I think the seat is really cool. I think these are interesting, famous personages. I really like what we did with the politics and the prominent members. I think, Vaughn, a lot of your help with the two mothers and the son really helped flesh them out. I think I have a much better sense of who they are as a clan now and how they're going to interact with our heroes. Great. So I know it's a little early, but I think I will probably call tonight's world building stream there. If you enjoyed coming and hanging out, and you're watching this on VOD, you can find me on Twitter. I am at XP Web Series, where I tweet a lot of stuff, mostly about dwarves. You can also find us on Discord, and you can find us on Patreon. I've got links down below to check those out. I know that those of you who are in the chat right now are familiar with that already, but it's always good in case you're watching it on VOD. We'll be back next Sunday with another episode. I will probably do some monsters next week, because it's been a little while since we've done monsters. And then maybe back to encounters, maybe back to politics. Who knows? But look forward to monsters next week. I always really like those. Great work to you, Castle Red Fox. Thanks for coming. I appreciate you all hanging out. I know it's kind of more casual these days. But yeah, it's always nice to... For me, it really helps. Like, even if nobody showed up, I would feel like it was a good use of my time because it forces me to explain my ideas out loud rather than just kind of sitting there staring at a blank page. So, like, the pressure of being on camera can be helpful in kind of jump-starting ideas that I wouldn't otherwise have. So, yeah. Great, but that'll be next week. We'll do monsters. We'll do some more streaming. It'll be awesome. Thanks for coming, everybody, and I will talk to you all next time. Thanks so much.